Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Stephanie Nesseth, and this is Smart Business Moves. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hi, good to see you, Steph.
You too, guys.
Stephanie's
What
going
you
to help
got
us.
going on in the background there,
Well,
Steph?
I'm
What's that?
in my husband's office. Husker stuff, my butt.
Okay. Okay, nice. Could definitely be way worse, right? I'm glad you're fully clothed in that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, let's pan a little bit to the left or right. What are we missing?
What are we missing?
Well, no,
Yeah.
we're not missing anything. Be glad, Tom, that you're seeing all that you're seeing. I'm thinking we don't really want to be seeing a whole heck of a lot more.
There's just Husker everywhere.
Don't be getting greedy, Tom.
No, well, I'm good. I'm good. So this is September, and September is Employee Retention Month. That's kind of what we're talking about, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And that's important.
But before,
we'll talk about some other things as well. Let's just jump right into it.
Don't you want to talk about the news? Oh, okay, you are.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that.
Okay.
We were talking earlier about some changes to the Idle Loan program. I'm gonna go ahead and take a link and drop it in the comments. Hey, Linda's here.
So if we got more money the second time around, Tom, you got to address that piece.
Well, they were capped at $150,000. They raised the cap to $500,000 a few months ago, I guess, back in April, I believe. They raised it.
It's a while.
It was in April to $500,000, and they just came out with an announcement saying they're going to raise the cap to $2 million. But more interestingly is what the money can be used for. And somewhere in here, it explains that you can pay prepayments on your debt, which means if you've got a loan with your business for automobiles or an office or whatever, if you're paying more than 3.75%, it would be economically rational to take more idle money, pay that loan off, and then start paying on the money that the federal government gave you or loaned you.
You know, I'm seeing on here federal debt, Tom, and I have 3 customers that have some IRS debt that they're paying off. You think that would be covered?
I don't know, but it would.
Sure looks like it, huh? Definitely worth a. Yeah.
What interest?
Like, boy,
any idea what type of interest? You probably more than 3.75, huh?
Oh yeah, I can't remember exactly what, and I don't know that they both are paying the same. The interest and penalties is ridiculous on our IRS stuff, though. So if they could eliminate just getting it paid off, I think the money that you would save in penalties would be worth it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what all might fall under that. So
yeah,
I just heard about this earlier today, so I don't have all the details. When we'll do a little more research and maybe have a little more that we can share on Wednesday. But if you have any debt on your balance sheet, this might be worth taking a look at, because the other thing, which is kind of generous, is that it's a 30-year amortization. So I'm not suggesting you take, a 5-year note and turn it into a 30-year note. But if you ever run into a pinch where you're a little short on cash, you could make very modest payments for that amount of time. Plus, I think it says that you can defer any payments for 24 months if you.
Right, up to 2 years. I think the only thing you really need to be seriously concerned about, depending on how much money you take, is if you're looking at selling, you cannot sell while under this.
Well, I think you can, because I know a company that just sold. Tomorrow is their closing. They
It
had taken
depends
an
on the
idle.
amount. Could up to 300,000, I think, but the larger amounts I'm not sure about. I heard that you could not over 500,000.
Oh, I don't know, because until today there was no anything above 500,000.
Yeah, Biden announced this during his speech.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I have no idea about that, but I do know you can sell if you have an idle, but you'll have to pay that off, right? The idle loan itself can't attach with the sale.
Right. Yeah, you can't keep the 30-year note if you're selling.
Well, you get to keep it. You don't get to pass it on. Which is not as fun. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What? Good info.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do a little more legwork on that and have some more details on Wednesday.
All right. Cool. I especially want to hear about anything having to do with that IRS stuff. I think my clients would be like head over heels in love with me if I could get that taken off.
So you're asking for a friend, that's right, Liz.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, asking for a friend, Tom.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Well, so Tom, do you want to, Steph, why I wanted to bring Steph on for this month? Yeah. I know we didn't have a conversation about it, but.
Well, I believe it has something to do with some of the programs that Stephanie supports within her business, which creates, I guess, a higher purpose for being part of her organization than just getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has changed over the last 18 months. We're not able to really get into the homes like we were, or Ronald McDonald House, because of COVID. So that whole purpose driven based on our programs before, some of them we've really had to pivot. So part of how we're retaining, it's nothing different that we haven't ever done before. But when you're talking about retaining employees, especially in an environment like this, it's really important, I believe, that you talk about and understand that it's about how you make people feel when they stick around with you. It's about understanding who they are and how they think and what intrinsically motivates them. So we do personality tests like Liz does. That is a huge tool for us. But we also have to understand that if we're not taking care of their needs first over their wants, then it doesn't matter what kind of purpose-driven programs you have if you're not meeting their needs first. So that's really where we focus. And during the last 18 months, I think, and especially the derecho, when that hit, that's the only time that we shut down was for 4 days. But during that time, we had people who lost their homes. We had people whose cars were crushed by trees. You couldn't get food. You couldn't get gas. And so when you have a group of people who are really close to living paycheck to paycheck already, and then you slam that on there, my office staff worked on our clients, and I worked on the needs of our staff during that time. And I think when you focus on that, everything else just kind of follows. There is a trust that starts to develop when they understand that you really have their back. And trust is the key to all retention. And a lot of these employees who come to us come from employers who never really cared about them probably the way that we do, or the way that we show. And so it takes a little bit of time for them to start to trust us when we're doing that. So sometimes we're banging our head against the wall for a little bit, like, no, really, we really need it. We're really, really bringing you food today. We're really, really collecting diapers and wipes for your family. We're really bringing you gas, during derecho. Some people were just, flabbergasted by that. But you have to get to their needs. You can't expect them to not be able to feed their families and yet take care of all of your clients that have lost their homes. Just like we are not our clients, we are our staff. That for me is really important for all of our office staff to understand. We don't think that way. we are not them. Our life experiences are not the same. There is no two people who have those same life experiences. So you really have to get to know deeply who they are, and not all of them are going to trust you with that. And so there's a lot of tools that we have to use in order to get to that place, if that explains that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. One of the things that I was looking at just, I don't know, maybe a month ago, 6 weeks ago or something, was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
And I was just curious if anything has changed, because unprecedented event over here, right? These are unprecedented times.
Right.
So I was just curious if the model holds up during this time. And really it does, you know. Tom, can you pull up, you're pretty good at doing this. Can you pull up Maslow's hierarchy of needs real quick?
I can effort.
I know you can. You'll succeed too. I've seen you. And so to those of you that are like, what exactly is Steph talking about? She's basically talking about this. Abraham Maslow, many years ago, don't know how many, he designed this hierarchy of needs. And the point is that you can't move up this triangle until you get these base needs met first. The basic needs first is the physiological, which is Steph is talking about, bringing people food, literally bringing people food, water, warmth, right?
Right.
And then right after that, another basic needs is safety needs. They need to feel secure and safe. And your situation, people didn't feel secure and safe.
Yeah.
And right now we're dealing with that with COVID, y'all, right? That people don't feel safe. That's part of why we're having all this churn in the country. It might not be because of something that you specifically are doing wrong, or that it's not working, or you're bad people. People are not feeling secure and safe. So there is that need is not being met. So they're struggling, right? But this is something that I always thought was great about what you do, Steph, is I preach a lot on matter, meaning, measure, and some autonomy in there. But you've always been really, really good at bringing the meaning, the matter too, making people feel like they matter in your company, but also bringing meaning to the work that people do, so that they feel like you said, it's about the emotion. They feel like you're doing more. So you said you haven't been able to do a lot of the things that you used to do in the last 18 months. What have you been doing for that meaning piece?
It's really interesting because the pivot is within the safety mechanism that they need to feel. So they have kids that are being schooled, through Zoom. Daycare is a challenge, all these different things. And in a service job, it's really hard you can't work from home. You're not able to homeschool your kids, all those different things that a lot of people are able to do in order to continue to feel safe. And so part of our pivot is we're giving them a week off every quarter. That is huge for us. And in the meaning part, where we were cleaning for time in a bottle or going through Ronald McDonald House, now it's every home. We don't know who has COVID. We don't honestly know why their illnesses are going on. And if we're truly cleaning for safety, then every single home now has meaning. And so that is truly our meaningful pivot, is that every single home is a safety risk. And so the only challenge to a lot of this is when you talk about the hierarchy and you talk about esteem and needs, many of these people are the generation of trophies. And so when there is no pat on the back, when there's no client that is coming out of the room saying, great job, we have to cover that. We have to take care of that. And so, maybe it's Monday morning meetings where you're covering breakfast, or we're not even doing the breakfast in-house anymore. We've kind of pivoted to, here's a pizza, take it home to your family. Because the need isn't with us, and the satisfaction, we don't need to see it. We just want them to feel it. And for us right now, it's realizing that it's with their family. So we're giving them things to take home to their family. So the safety is there.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't heard anybody really speak to that piece, and I haven't really thought a lot about that piece either, that they are feeling just unsafe out in the world, and the place where they need to feel safe is at home with their families. I like that. Hey, Liz, good to see you here. What does Liz say? Daycare co-op for the employees to help one another with daycare and school, time for work and school, and time with kids takes a village. Weekly veggies box from local farmers, farm to table. Yeah. Are these all things that you're doing, Liz? That sounds awesome. Hey, Denise. Yeah, I love that too.
Really awesome.
Yeah, really great. You know, and a lot of times people think this stuff doesn't matter, or that people don't care, or that you're going to create people that are entitled. It will be okay. That's stuff that your programs that you're working on. Awesome.
Yeah.
And that, especially that entitled piece, you know, I hear that a lot. No, they'll start expecting it, and then they don't appreciate it. And I wanted to speak to that just a little bit, because I know you and I are on the same page here.
Yeah, we're not giving it to them. So after 90 days of staying in policy, they get a week. So they're still earning it. So they can earn 4 weeks in addition to holidays that we pay. But the extra week, we still expect them to show up and do a great job.
And is that paid time off, or is that unpaid time off?
Yeah, it's paid.
That's paid. Woo, that's big. I can see that. And that's every quarter. So they're actually getting 4 quarters on top of holidays. I mean, 4 weeks on top of holidays.
Yes.
So they're basically getting 5 weeks per year.
Correct.
But
the amount of money that we were spending trying to find people, you know, stuck in the previous world, it'll pay for itself easily.
Yeah. How long have you been using this program, and what are you finding so far?
2 months, and we're getting closer to being fully staffed again.
Nice. All right. So people are starting to get the feeling again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. And so, you know, it always does come back there to, you know, the feelings.
The only caveat to showing people self-esteem, and it shouldn't be a bad thing, but sometimes my office staff is like, oh, it happened again. But when you build self-esteem with people and you show them that you care, they start to learn and want to do it on their own, or they see where they're missing out in life, or they have more time for their family and they understand. So they might leave you for bigger and better things, but that's okay. That's kind of what we want. I feel very proud when they do that. Our HR manager, Gracie walked across the United States for our nonprofit this year. And when they came to Myrtle Beach, we went and we took our office staff with us. And she had never been on vacation before, ever. And so it kind of just really opened her eyes up, and she felt worthy for the first time. And she quit a month later. Kind of a midlife crisis sort of thing, but she is doing exactly what she wants, and I'm so proud of her. And we talk all the time, and you know, I send her, you know, I hope you're doing great things. And my office was kind of like, what just happened? But I'm like, no, that's good. That's what we want. That means we actually succeeded, and we brought them up into another level. That's what we want.
But I'm sure that while you want them to, yes, grow and gain the self-esteem, you don't expect that every time you do something nice for people that they're going to churn in a month. That's not what you're saying, right?
No, she's been an employee for, you know, over 3 years. Great, you know, longevity, and it was just kind of an eye-opening experience that she had never had an opportunity to be a part of before. And when you give people those experiences, you know, they're not always there. Sometimes they realize, you know, what their real dreams are, and that's a good thing.
And, you know, when that happens, it would be very easy to react negatively and say, well, you know, see if we ever take anybody else, you know, on a trip. But by reacting in a positive way, I assume everybody else in your organization sees that. And just kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. If they come back, they talk about it, you know, so it's a great word of mouth experience as well. One of the other things that we did last year, when all the swimming pools were shut down, nobody's family could, you know, take their kid out. Our country club, the pool was still open. So we completely shut down our business and shut down the club so that they could bring their families in and experience that. So it's mostly experiences. They still want everything that we want. They still want freedom. They still want, to be able to do things that maybe we can do, because we have, spent 30 years getting to this level. So showing them that it is possible and it is something that we want them to experience too, really starts to build the trust as well.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Hey, Steph, talk about, I know you said that you are not able to do time in a bottle right now, but can you talk a little bit about time in a bottle? I know a lot of people were like super intrigued by that.
Yeah, we do some of it. There are some people who feel comfortable with us, and we explain and we understand that we know what we're doing in regards to COVID and cleaning and safety and all of that. So we're doing some of it, but just not to the level that we used to. But we clean for families that are undergoing a life-threatening illness for free. We give them 5 cleans. And we also have cleaned the Ronald McDonald House in the past, but it's not really an active thing right now. There's not really a whole lot of families there due to COVID. So we hope to get back to that soon.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm glad you're still able to do some of it.
Yeah,
That's cute.
Yeah, Gracie raised over almost $100,000 for us this year.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
you guys used to do something that was, I don't know if you still do this. Oh, my cat again on my keyboard. You also used to put on like a yearly carnival for your client, right?
Yeah, Gracie Walking Across America was the pivot for this year. Because we couldn't get together like that.
Talk a little bit more about that, because people don't even know who Grace is, right? So.
Grace is my daughter, and she has worked for us since she was, 3 years old, from folding towels to graduating from University of Nebraska and finally running our social media and public relations part. So the Walk Across America was a way to bring awareness and continue raising funds without making people sick or, being in their face, or, it was just a social media. She would go live and talk, and people would Venmo, or news stations would broadcast them. It was a pretty fun experience.
And so tell us, what did she do? How far did she walk? Give us more detail.
300 miles, I believe. They went from Huntington Beach to Myrtle Beach, California, all the way.
And who you said they?
They, her fiance. Yeah, they walked all the way across, and they had so much fun and had such a great feeling doing it, and really affected so many people that they're now converting a bus, and they're going to do the same thing across the entire United States. They're going to spend 30 days in each state, and they're going to do the same thing for small nonprofits in each state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's kind of a big undertaking right there too.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the people that are on here, so Steph, you have a tendency to do things in a really big way, right? Mm-hmm. You don't tend to do stuff small. Okay. But for the people that are, on Smart Business Moves, a lot of times that they're feeling, well, not just the people on Smart Business Moves, a lot of people now are just feeling overwhelmed. Right. Like, I don't know what to do. I've got I don't even know, right? They're lost. So hearing all of the things that you do, while it's all like amazing, also I think can sound overwhelming for people.
Right.
Do you have any ideas of smaller things that people might be able to do? Or?
I feel overwhelmed as well. Don't get the smile. It's all right there. We're all overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in the world. And you just have to take little bites at a time, every single day, little bits. Because everybody is so overwhelmed, our staff, if they miss a day and they're out of policy, we will let them get that day back by going and providing service to someone. It doesn't matter. They can go to the library and put in an hour. Somebody signs a form, brings it back to us, they get an hour back. We just are trying to foster service. We feel like Service Hearts is the meat of who we are, and it's what creates an awesome employee. And so we're constantly fostering service. bringing food to a food bank if they have leftovers. Just take a selfie with the food bank person. That's all we ask. Just little things like that. We stopped trying really hard to keep up with our clientele when we were understaffed, and we just shrunk it back and we kept our base. And we didn't work till 7 o'clock. We didn't try and force anybody to work extra hours to keep up. We have these nice EIDL loans and such that we can use to keep us, above water while we're allowing them a little bit of space. I've never been in debt in my life. Here I am. I don't like it, but it's also allowing me to give them a little bit of space and keep going, because it'll come around eventually. So just little bits. You don't ask your staff any more than you would ask of yourself, which says a lot, because I ask myself to do far more than I would ever ask anybody to do. So you have to be really careful with that. You have to understand that you are not your employees. Probably ask them to do about half of what you would do yourself, and just really kind of scale back and remember your why and find out what their why is. That's really imperative.
So I do feel like that is a missing piece for a lot of people. I think over the course of the last maybe 5 years, we've gotten the message through to cleaning business owners that you really need to know what your core values are. You really need to have a mission statement, really need to be thinking about these things. And now we've got everybody kind of on board with that. Now it's like, the next level is now you have to start thinking about what their core values are and what they care about and what's important to them.
If you're not the same, you won't work well together at all.
Yeah.
You're just constantly button heads.
Yeah. Or going in opposite directions, which is exactly the same thing, right? Yeah. All right. So let me check in that I just heard what you said, because I think I love this idea. So I think what you said is somebody misses a day of work, that they're out, or they miss a day of work, they miss 8 hours of work,
right?
That they can go do something else that is not related to cleaning, something that maybe they feel passionate about, some type of giving thing, and they can still get paid for those hours. That's what I heard.
Paid for them. They are getting they're back in policy. So let's say we offer 6 days off, in a quarter that they can miss without excuse. And I think it's 4. 6 is high. And they still want to earn that week of vacation that they get in 90 days. But life threw them some loop, COVID, whatever.
Whatever.
They can go volunteer hours, maybe working at a dog park or, whatever makes them happy.
Yeah.
They can get that time back. So they're not really punished for life being thrown in their way. And yet we can service.
Because to be able to get the week off every quarter, you have to be in compliance with your attendance policy, right? Okay, I missed that the first time around. Now I got it.
Accountable. Yeah. You have to hold people accountable.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. So they get to, I was wondering, I was going to ask you about the financial aspect of how that works. I'm like, as your idol, like financing that, it seems kind of, especially for someone who's never been in debt before.
Yeah, no.
So if I am allowed 4 days, but I miss a 5th day, I can do some volunteer work and get that 5th day back.
Yes.
So and still qualify. So do I do like 8 hours of like volunteer
whatever
work?
amount of time that you missed on that day. So if you missed a half a day, then maybe it's 4 hours at reading books to kids in school, or visiting a nursing home, or whatever in our community where the volunteer work is. There's always lots.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You're muted, Liz.
So you guys can't hear me coughing, but you can't hear me talking either.
Right.
It's a benefit, Tom. It's a benefit. My gosh, how do they prove what they did to volunteer?
A selfie, a piece of paper, something signed by a supervisor at the area.
So basically what she's saying is that however you want to. They're really flexible and they're just throwing it out there. That's what they want.
Yeah, we're building
Say it
trust
again.
there as well. I said we're building trust too. So, you can't be too crazy about it. Unless, it's somebody who is missing 3 days a week and volunteering at a dog park on the weekends. We might catch on to that.
Might.
Right,
All right, good. Yeah, might. Okay. I like that, giving people a way to earn back their time. I think that is an idea that a lot of people have tried and not done well. But I think the building trust factor tied to it can be like a game changer right there. Right?
Absolutely. Time is the currency this year.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Time is, that's a good saying right there. Time is their currency, right?
Yeah.
And how are things there in Iowa, Steph, with minimum wage and that type of stuff? Are you guys dealing with any of the struggles that?
Well, I when this happened a long time ago, I kind of had a gut feeling on where we were going to end up. And so when it became, in my mind, something that wasn't going to ever go away, we just pivoted right away. We are one of the few people that have. And so in that regards, we're getting more applicants. We're getting applicants of people that just blows my mind, just because, people are still stuck. There are businesses who are absolutely being super stubborn about it, which I don't quite understand where their long-term thinking is in that aspect. And so it's working really well for us. We certainly had to raise our prices significantly. Our clients didn't like it at all, but now it's not a big deal at all. The other thing that we're finding right now is the biggest thing and the biggest draw that is sending employees to us is the vaccine mandates. And they don't want to be vaccinated, some of these people. And so we have nurses, we have CNAs, we have housekeepers at hospitals. We have a lot of people from hospitals applying. So
yeah, we're getting that as well. We have had medical people.
Yeah. It's not something they want, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah. Steph, can you talk a little bit about, you said you had to raise prices significantly, and I know a lot of people are afraid of that, but part of what we're all running into right now is we're having to pay more, right? We're having to pay more money, and so we have to charge more. How much have you raised prices? Over what time frame? Can you talk about that?
We did it right away. We are almost $57 per man hour. And we just went through our client list and we cleaned out anybody and everybody right away that wasn't profitable. Clients that didn't want to pay it went away, but there are so many businesses that don't exist anymore that we're not even advertising, and we can't keep up with the demand for service. So, but we're not taking many one-time cleans right now. We're trying to just maintain our current clients right now. When those one-time cleans that we were taking, we're filling those in with new ongoing services. We're just trying to build our base right now because we feel like that is our safety mechanism for the future. So one-time cleans are only if somebody cancels. We have a waiting list for those, but we're just really working on our base, our core.
Yeah, I know everybody has pretty much a waiting list these days.
Yeah. We're supported by about 20 employees. So, we used to do a pretty significant amount of one-time cleans, so I miss that revenue. But as long as we, are still here next year or right now, I'm okay. So we'll get there.
So it sounds like even you are struggling to bring on new employees, even with these very generous terms, right? I mean, gosh, 5 paid weeks.
Yeah.
We have a company here locally, not a cleaning company, but another company here locally. And I just saw their ad yesterday. Tim was reading it to me, and they earn 4 weeks paid vacation, and they begin earning it 30 days in. They get a $1,500 signing bonus. So $1,500 to sign. A month in, they are eligible for their first week of paid vacation. Oh, what else? I can't remember. Those are the two that really, there were a bunch of things though. Those were the two that really stood out to me, was like, wow. Apply for a job, and it's in the ad that if you apply for a job, you will be hired on the spot. You won't have to wait for, if you're a viable candidate, you'll be hired on the spot. You won't have to wait for someone to get back to you and do all these different tests and stuff. I was like, wow.
Well, my staff are not intrinsically motivated by money. And we offered them $1,500 per new employee. You know, we wanted them to word of mouth, and not one. So they're just not motivated by money. So we're trying other things.
It's not common in this industry to have people that are motivated by money. It's just, I mean, if they're motivated by money, there's lots better jobs to get, right, than this one. So it's not typical to find people who are motivated by money. Looks like Robin has a couple of questions here. Do you have an HR person on staff, or do you use a consultant for HR activities?
Both. I use Ethos HR Online as a company, and so there's a dedicated person our staff take during orientation. Lots of tests, and we, filter them in throughout the year as they see fit. I have an HR person that makes sure that all of that is implemented on staff, and she's in charge of our hiring and our teams.
And you have been using them for, I mean, that is like a blast from the past, hearing you say that at least a decade, right? At least a decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've been using them. Yeah. What's EAP?
That's what I'm wondering. I was hoping you would know.
I don't. What is EAP? My brain is.
No, I was thinking of a PEO. I was like, maybe music. No, that's not what he means.
Robin, what's an EAP?
He earned something potential.
Again?
Ethos? Employee assistant programs.
No.
Employee assistant programs. So you kind of do.
Well, and nothing formal.
Yeah, not formal.
I'm finding employee assistant program is my guess. When I Google it, that's what pops up.
It is in our but it's really nothing formal. If it's something that they are going to use to help in our company, we'll certainly help them with those things. Absolutely.
Do you have an example of an employee assistant program? Robin, were you looking at one, or any details there? I'm just curious. Well, what else can you talk to us about? I mean, you've had a long history of retaining employees, and you were an absentee owner long before anybody was talking about absentee owners in this industry.
Well, I started the company because my son had cancer, and so it was started by design so that I could be absent. And then, I have a lot of autoimmune issues now, so it's kind of funny. I always say that I thought I started it for my son, but really it's very helpful for me now. So systems are imperative, and to enable you to do that, you have to have systems.
Yeah. And they have to be strong systems.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have to be able to keep your people, because if you can't keep your people, you can't you can't be gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Robin, are you talking about things like telemedicine, teledoc, those types of things? I know that they deal with that. I'm just curious what kind of employee assistant programs you might be talking about.
Ethos has a dedicated line where any employee can call in if they have any issues. that is an assistance that we have with them. So they will then reach out to us and let us know that we have an issue that we need to talk about. Drugs, family issues, depression, absolutely. That is definitely something that we foster. My mom is a nurse practitioner, and lots of, connections in that world. And so we tend to know what resources to use and who to connect them with. So making sure that they are mentally strong is something that we really absolutely focus on. And if we sense it or see it, we'll privately reach out and give them resources that we're aware of. So that's one way that we do help. And that is something that we absolutely have offered throughout this last 18 months. It's been a hard year for many staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has really been a hard year. Yeah. And people are still struggling. I know we are struggling with people sending their kids back to school.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, they've had their kids home all this time now, and now they're nervous about sending them off to school again.
2 of our schools never shut down. All of our private schools didn't shut down. So for us, that's not a big deal. There's only 2 schools that offered a split. You could do in class for some and at home for some. So that really hasn't been a big thing. Most of our staff are cheering that kids are back in school.
I know I am. I'm like, I don't even have kids, right? And the kids are going back to school. It's making everything a lot easier for the employees, for sure. Like at least for being able to come to work, daycare.
Well, daycare has been such a huge thing for us too. When the tornado hit, a couple of them just weren't able to function. We didn't have electricity for 4 weeks, and buildings were destroyed everywhere. So it's been a little bit more challenging than just the COVID for us here in Cedar Rapids.
And when did that happen?
Last August. We're still rebuilding. We lost our building. So
you lost your building?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Whole thing.
I didn't know that.
That Friday, I had this weird gut feeling that I told Amy, I said, our staff is tired. I think we should take Monday off. There's something whispering in my ear telling us to shut down. So we did. We were closed on Monday and we lost our roof. It would have been a really scary, horrible thing for us. So
trust your gut. How crazy.
Yeah, trust your gut. Always.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that or heard about that. That's crazy.
What time of day did that strike? It was on a Monday, like during normal work
it
hours?
was about 1 o'clock and it lasted for almost an hour.
Wow.
190 miles. We had a cat 4 in some places, inland hurricane with no warning.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, all of our teams would have been on the road.
Yeah.
It would have been horrible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So scary. Wow. Crazy. Talk about feeling blessed right there, huh?
Oh, totally. And Amy was upset with me because she had to reschedule all those houses last minute. You know how that goes.
She's like, you're crazy.
Yeah, she was. But Monday she was like, oh, thank you.
She went home over the weekend and told her whole family that I don't know what is wrong with Steph. She's crazy. And then on Monday they're like, wow.
Yeah.
She's the Messiah.
Yeah, they think I'm psychic now, so.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, what do we got here? Liz, co-op homeschooling, set up a classroom at the office, get local daycare providers to set up at the office, and get a college student or a teacher for the off classroom.
My former career, I was a director of a preschool with 86 kids. I'd be careful what you wish for there.
Yeah. So I did a co-op here. I don't know how many years ago, many years ago now. Lasted 10 months. And I would not do it again. I would not recommend it. It was
a whole nother level.
It was. And the legalities and the insurance is really expensive. And just the logistics was ridiculous.
Yeah,
The logistics are
staff,
crazy.
depending on their age, you have to feed them certain foods. There's a lot that goes into running that kind of thing. So
And
it sounds
we
great.
were trying to do it kind of under the
Yeah.
under the
Radar.
yeah, under the radar, and just
Yeah.
for having like anybody with kids could join the co-op, and then you had to work in the co-op. You didn't get paid, nobody else got paid either, so you were donating your time.
Right.
I thought it was a great idea, and actually it didn't work at all for the first 2 months. Worked great for like the next 6 months, and then wow, well, I guess we ran it for a little bit longer than that, and then it was just a train, just a suck of energy and time and resources. I would not recommend doing that. Not the way we did it anyway.
Right.
So is this a co-op that was for everybody that worked in your cleaning company, or was it the broader community?
No, just in our cleaning company.
Okay.
It's just the people that worked for us. They're like, they had kids, and you think that you can get some drama between your employees every once in a while? Find out that one of your employees told another one of your employees' kids that you just need to be quiet. That was bad enough, y'all. It did not go well. Don't recommend that. So that's why you get a local daycare provider to set up shop at your office, their insurance, their license. I definitely like that a lot better. And they have the experience. They know how to manage a lot of that. So, oh yeah, absolutely. I think that times change, Liz. No argument there. And I have done so many things that I would never do again, but I've done lots of things that I started doing again. Tom, we were just talking about that last week with in-home estimates. Like everybody did in-home estimates, and then it was like that made no sense. Sorry, guys, somebody keeps trying to call me. I keep ignoring them. They don't care.
Right. I see Robin's question here. You mentioned meeting the staff needs first before other programs are effective. Am I talking specifically about compensation? I can explain a little bit more about that. When you're talking about needs, you have to first meet any needs that they have. Do they have kids who have autism? Do they need to pick up do they need to get their kids on the bus at 9 a.m. instead of having somebody else? Are they concerned about that? Do they need to pick them up at 3 o'clock? How many kids are they picking up? If you have them work past 5:30 and the daycare closes at 5:30, you need to make sure that you have them off in time to pick up their family. That's what matters most. So needs, I'm talking more about deep, basic needs. Knowing who their family is, knowing who their kids are, knowing what obstacles that they are dealing with within their own lives, and trying to set up your staffing needs so that you can accommodate those things. So people always used to assume that my business was massive years ago. It always used to make me smile, just because the first question is always, how many employees do you have? And based on that, people make assumptions without asking other things. Well, we always try and stay way overstaffed so that we can accommodate these sorts of things. So if we have there are so many needs that kids have these days, and that's always going to be their first need, is that they have to take care of the family. And you have to understand where I came from, and I started this business so that I could be home and I could be free with my kids. And then my next employee had lupus, and then my next employee had a child with autism, and there wasn't a single job that would let them off in order to pick them up and go when it was needed. And so if you're massively overstaffed, which I know is hard to do right now, which is kind of why we are, still scaling back, because we still want to offer the same situation, even though we're understaffed. And so we can't be as big as we were before until we can accommodate that, because we're not changing taking care of the needs of our staff just because we're suffering. That is, our problem is not their problem, if that makes sense. And so we have to make sure that we can accommodate those things always. And so you may have to scale yourself down in order to take care of those kinds of needs. It's not a compensation thing. It's a deep need for them to be able to take care of their family for us.
And so the compensation needs to go to that question is you got to meet their base needs based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right.
Again, there, Robin, you need to make sure that their basic needs can be met, that they have food, water, a home, a place to dock, rest, security, safety.
Right.
So they need to have enough money for that. But they don't need to have more money than that. Once you get past this, now they start needing more psychological needs. Now, some people will still want money and will be motivated by money, but not most of our employees. Some of them, of course, but not most of our employees. Most of them, it's not a compensation issue after that.
So that's where the personality tests are a huge help in understanding what their why is. We'll do dream meetings where we talk about it. And sometimes you have people who won't put hardly anything on their dream board. They don't even know what to dream. If your needs aren't met, you can't get beyond food on the table. And so it's something, that you can foster and teach, but until you meet those needs, they don't know how to, there's no dream yet. They're still focused on the basics. Yeah, that's so true. You don't have time for dreaming if you're still trying to figure out how to feed your kid. Right. If you don't have food for tomorrow, you covered today. Right. You're not thinking past that. Right. Do I work solos? I work both. I work teams and solos, and we really do solos for the people who need to start at 9, get off at 3. Solos really are employees who need something different than a regular schedule. We'll accommodate that. That flexibility. Explaining the dream further. Let's say you want to take your family to Disney World, and you're still making $15 an hour. You can dream about it, but there's no action that you can take to make that dream come true. And so you put that dream aside, and it's something that you probably never will get to if you don't see yourself as someone who can work towards that. So when we're talking about making sure that our staff can dream, when we do meetings, like we have a staff meeting coming up October 7th, and we bring in public speakers. So the next meeting is she's coming in talking about boundaries. And so explaining these sorts of things to them sometimes opens up their minds so that they can see that there is a possibility, and I do have the potential, and I can get to that. But until you show them that a dream has to have action and that they are capable of the action, without taking care of the basic needs first, you can't get to that. Does that make sense? Does to me and Tom. Yeah. I'm guessing it does to Robin as well.
You got that, Robin? Yeah.
Yeah. So it really is a matter of getting people to a place where their dreams can become reality, so that it just doesn't have to remain all dream, and they never feel like they can get to where they want. Right. Dream is just a dream without a plan. Yeah. He wants to know if the dreaming that you're talking about is an organized activity. Yes.
We are.
Way to keep it simple and succinct there. Stuff.
Yeah, that's right there. Well,
and it's different every time, depending on who your staff is. You have to be very aware of who they are and self-aware. So that activity can change based on who your staff is at the moment.
And we are getting close to the top of the hour here. We have another couple of minutes. I'll share.
Oh boy, that's the middle of being redone. Do not judge right now. That's
okay. Well, but if you want to know more about Stephanie's company, I'll drop the website in the chat, and check out her Facebook page too. You can be one of the 6,727 people to like that. That's a huge number. I know Stephanie does a lot in social media. A lot to be learned there.
More than we used to, yeah. that number.
You used to do a ton in social media. You're very creative. You always have fresh ideas. So you're fun to watch. And I don't know, I think you're a great resource for the industry just because you do look at common problems that everybody says, oh, this is terrible and this can't be addressed and this can't be fixed. And you don't understand. You're like, yeah, well, let's just think on that a little bit more.
Yeah, there's always
an answer there. There's an answer there. Yeah. You do always talk about how there's always a way.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Stephanie, you'd like for us to share with the audience today? Any other websites?
Hang in there. We're going to get through this, guys. You can, one step at a time. Never, ever, ever stop taking applicants. Interview daily. Even if interview daily. Seriously.
Yeah.
Never stop.
Yeah.
Always
no matter who you are.
Yeah. Always be recruiting.
Yeah,
good.
It's a muscle you want to keep exercising, even when you don't think you need to. Because if you think you don't need to, you're wrong.
Absolutely. Cool.
That's exactly when the weight is going to feel its heaviest. Is when you think you don't need to exercise anymore. I promise.
Yeah, you probably should double it if you think you don't need to.
Yeah. 45 more pounds on each side, y'all.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys. It was fun.
Well, thank you for
so
being
much,
here. I mean, as always, I mean, you've got, wonderful information. You got an awesome business. You're giving us useful information to make our businesses more successful and to make a difference in people's lives at the same time. It really doesn't get any better than that, right?
Well, I hope so. Got to implement.
I do hope that you guys heard that Steph really brings the heart to her company, and that is a legitimate strategy for keeping people, is bringing your heart to theirs.
Well, and you can't fake it. You have to really care. Yeah, you can't fake it.
Again, thanks a bunch.
Yeah,
We'll be back here Wednesday.
Thanks,
12 o'clock
y'all.
Eastern. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.